Hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn and I'm hosting today. I'm very delighted to be here with you and also with Anika Aggarwal. Hi Anika, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Flynn?
I'm very good, thank you. We're back at it again with some more Express stuff, which is really exciting. And I know you have a lot to show us today. As always, it's jam-packed, full of tips and tricks and interesting processes and stuff. And I think these topics are really, really interesting. I won't give it away. I'll let you do that. But yeah, thank you so much for all the work that you've done preparing this live stream for us today.
No, thank you so much for having me. As always, thank you all for joining us live. I am so excited to be here today because we're talking everything content creation. So if you're a brand strategist and you want to hand over some assets to your clients and they want to create their social content, or if you're a social media manager and you want to manage your clients' content easily, or if you're a blogger and if you want to do it, or if you're just a content creator and you want to create your content seamlessly in one tool, this stream is perfect for you. We'll be showcasing the brand kit, showcasing how to create reusable templates in Adobe Express, and then also scheduling and sharing your content out to socials. So it's a fun stream. It's more processes and how to do things rather than having an end result, but we'll still have end results because you know how it is on Adobe Live.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, I think this is something that all of us struggle with. So it's always good to get a refresher, even if you think that everything you're doing is like the most efficient possible way. And
Yeah.
I know there's always new stuff happening in Express, being a web-based app. They always see every time we do a stream, isn't there? There's like something's moved, or
Yeah.
changed, or updated. So I'm super keen to see the process today.
Well, you're in the right place then because I was doing something earlier and I prepped something and I was like, wait, this button was not here. So you're in for some fun. Before we get started, I want to reintroduce myself for those of us who haven't
Please
been
do.
here before. Hi, my name is Anika. I'm a brand strategist and a social media marketer. I work continuously and collaboratively with Adobe, and I love working in various aspects. One of those is Adobe Live, where we showcase Adobe products in use cases and real life scenarios. I love doing that because I love making design education accessible. So, yeah, we're here to talk about Adobe Express. So, let's jump into Adobe Express and how you can use it. There are various plans for Adobe Express, and Flynn, I wanted to give a refresher for those of us who've never used it. So for free plans, there's a free plan, first of all. There never used to be one, but this has been added for over the past year. In the free plan, there are some basic features such as using all of these templates, access to 100,000 static and video templates, along with assets, fonts, editing tools, content scheduling, version history, and 5 GB storage, along with devices that we can use. There's a premium plan, which is something that you might want to consider considering the stream today because the thing that we're using is brand management. Brand kits are available in the premium version of Adobe Express. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to upload your brand assets to Adobe Express and then be able to easily use it across social assets, then premium is the plan for you. If you're also looking to use AI features, so if you want Adobe Firefly in Adobe Express and also Adobe Firefly in general, like you have more generative credits here, there's more features here. I won't get into detail with that, but there's Firefly boards access as well. Then you might want to consider Adobe Firefly Pro as the plan. What are words? But for today's purposes, I'm going to say Adobe Express Premium might be your best bet. If you want to learn more about this information, you can just go to adobe.com/express. And on the top here, there's a plans button where you can compare any of these plans. This also differs for individuals and businesses. So if you're an enterprise company, this might look different for you. If you're a student, this might look different for you. And if you're an educator, the tool itself and also the pricing itself might look different for you. So if I go on the homepage, what I mean by that is my homepage might look different because I have an individual account. Your homepage might look different because you're an educator, and your account looks slightly different because it's tweaked to for it to be contextual for your context and your usage. Um, yeah, that's a brief run through of the plans.
Nice. That's
Now,
great.
what plan are you on, Flynn? Are you on the individual plan or a team plan?
I think I'm on the individual one. It depends because I have two accounts. I have my personal Adobe account,
Yeah.
that I have that I pay for, but I also have an enterprise account. And I switch between the two quite a bit. And the enterprise one,
Yeah.
because it's Adobe, I tend to have access to a lot more stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then on my personal account, but I do have a paid account. So I don't know. I have
Yeah.
credits all over the shop.
I
But
love
I
that.
do find it
The one,
interesting to switch between the different accounts to just see what outside of enterprise has access to. So I often will switch between the two. I find it useful to have
yeah.
both.
It is actually interesting that you mentioned that because I also have an enterprise account and an individual account. But the one
Mm,
thing that's common between these two is brands, which is what we're
right.
doing today. So, in either of the account, on the left hand side on the navigation menu, we have this ellipsis button which says more, and then there's brands, and that's what we're creating. Now, creating a brand kit is super simple. Think of it as having a repository on Adobe Express, which has all your logos, colors, fonts, assets, graphics, photographs, everything that you can imagine your brand to have. What we're going to do is create a new brand to showcase how you can upload your own assets. There's a create brand button here. Something that's new here is having this drop down menu, which where you can either manually set up your brand or extract your brand from upload. I want to do a manual setup because I want to set up a new brand called Velocity Vortex. I created a cycling brand on one of my previous Adobe live streams, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me refine that and make it something that I can use. And then over here, once you've named the brand that you're working with, then you can save it to either a personal storage, which is your local storage in your Adobe Express account, or any of the projects that you've previously created. We'll get into file and folder organization. We were talking about that earlier, but we'll get into that in just a little second here. I want to click on create, and that's going to create a new brand. And you can now populate it with your brand logos, graphics, colors, and fonts, like I said. Are we good so far? Any
Yep.
questions?
Makes sense. I got into using brands, I think, about 2 years ago. I find it really, really useful.
Yeah. Brands are honestly such I want to say game changer, but everyone's been using ChatGPT and everyone says game changer now. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to say game changer anymore, but it is such a game changer. I do have all my brand logos here along with some files and like some brand imagery that I already have in my machine. So what I'm going to do is actually drag and drop these logos in here, which is going to learn from the type of images that I've uploaded. So it's going to segregate that into either logos or graphics. Now I see that these are considered graphics, but they're actually logos. So I'm just going to move it to, I wonder if it's going to let me categorize it into a folder. No, it doesn't. That's so interesting. Maybe I
Mm.
can drag and drop.
This is new from last time. I think the way that I have my brand set up, I think graphics and logos are combined. Like it's just all graphics. I think.
Yeah, this is new. I think with this, if it automatically thinks that it's a graphic, you can click on the ellipsis button over here and then use as logo. And then it's going to transfer that to the logos folder or segregation. And then I can do that for as many as I want. And that's going to make it a logo. So now if I click on view all, it's going to show me variations of the logos that I have here along with the type, the word mark version. And then I want to upload some colors as well. So I have this image here, which has all my hex codes, but I can also color pick from within Adobe Express. So what I'm going to do is click on this add button on the top here, then click on color palette. I can click on this plus button and I'm going to bring this into my view here. And then I wonder if it's gonna, no, it's not. I mean, I put it on the side. Just know that I'm getting my colors from this window. It's on my screen somewhere where you cannot see.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna color pick. And now actually I don't even need to go to that because I can color pick from the Adobe Express window. So even if this is not an object per se within this web page, I can still color pick and then I can ensure that it's the same color. I do see that it's slightly different, so I am gonna make it what I want. I can do it for as many number of colors that I have here, and then have a good color palette. This ensures that you have consistency with all your colors. So it's really nice to have all your colors handy within your brand. So whenever you're creating social assets, it's easy for you to just get the colors from the brand that you created once. So setting up takes a little bit of time, but then once you're done with it, you can just keep on using them and reusing them. I'm going to
Yep.
click, once you're done with all your colors, you can add as many as you want and create primary, secondary, tertiary palettes. I just have this one primary for demonstration purposes. I'm going to click on add, and that's going to add my color palette right here. And it says primary. So we have logos, we have colors. Now, what about fonts? When it comes to fonts, you can either upload your own custom fonts that you have licensed, created, or you can use Adobe fonts that are built into Adobe Express. With Adobe fonts, and you can also use Google fonts. So if you download any of these fonts, you can use them and upload them. If you have license for it, you can upload them here and then use those fonts in your brand. I want to say add fonts here. This lets me choose from some of the recent fonts that I've used, some of my uploaded fonts that I may have licensed before or I have access to. I may not have commercial license to, depends whatever you're using. And then you can also look for fonts within Adobe Fonts. So I actually want to use something by Chutzpah Design. I love their fonts. So I'm just going to use Venice Boulevard and I'm going to use it as my brand font here. Once I clicked on that, it adds the whole font family here. So I have all the font weights, which is amazing. This is also new because earlier I had to go in and manually click on every font family, like the font weight, which is really nice. And then I can add as many as I want. So maybe I want to add, so it says upload fonts here. I want to use enter maybe as like a secondary or a body font. I'm going to use that and click on that. All the font weights are added and it's slowly adding it. And you can see that it's loading in real time, which is really nice. So we did logos, we did colors, we are doing fonts. Now comes the graphics or the brand imagery that I want to upload. So you can also click on this button and that's going to open up your file browser, which is where all the brand imagery is. You can select all of the things that you want to upload, click on open, and that's going to load it into this brand library. Go to overview to see everything that you have here. If you want to specifically see only logos, you go on the logos tab. Colors shows you colors. Fonts shows you all the fonts that we just added. You can obviously add more if you would like to do so. And then there's graphics, which can either contain your Photoshop, Illustrator, I want to say InDesign, but I'm not completely sure. It did say here on the screen. So if you're watching this on a replay, you can pause it and see what all it said. But you can upload Illustrator, Photoshop files in here as well. And SVGs, I know it uploads SVGs and also images. So images go in as graphics as well. These are all PNG files that are uploading as graphics. So yeah, we just like that, in a few minutes, we've created a brand already. And now comes the part of using it. So why don't we go back to our home and show you what our file folder organization looks like and where we're going to use that brand. So on the left hand side here, we have home and your stuff and templates. This button templates is all the templates that are available in Adobe Express. So you can upload, you can use any of these templates here by all of these filters. So maybe I want to say global templates. Maybe I want a background or a text layout. I can select that here and I can use any of these templates and start from there. That's one. There's also your stuff, which is where you will create your own templates or store your designs that you've created. So I have some folders here that I already have created, but what I'm going to do is go to projects and create a new project, which is, okay, this can be slightly confusing. Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. Files is only available to me, whereas projects is something that I can share with people and they can collaborate with me on it.
Right.
So think of files as like a local private storage for yourself. Unless you explicitly share a file with someone, it's only going to be for you. If you go to projects though, let's say we have this project right here. I have this share button, and if I write your email ID here, Flynn, you can collaborate with me here. We can have a content calendar in here, like so. We can link a brand in here as well, and we can create libraries. So this is a great way for someone to collaborate with your, like, if I'm a designer, I can collaborate with my client. If I'm a designer, I'm working with someone on a project, I can collaborate with them in this way. So again, your stuff files is local storage and it's private to me unless I share a specific file with someone. The way to do that would be, let's say I click on this button. There's a share button often here on the top right. You would share their email ID right here. Um, and projects is where you create a shared folder once and for all. Everything that you add in that folder is shared with your collaborator. That's under projects. So we have this project here, share button. I write one email ID, I say Flynn, and then once I send them a request, everything that I add in here will be shared permanently unless I remove them. A great way to collaborate, you can add a content calendar in here, so you can create a calendar, and then if you wanted to upload something to socials, it's easy to do so and collaborate within your team.
And
That's
we
projects.
could both collaborate there. So I could create from the brand. So if I was the client, I might want to remix something and I could upload it, or I could share it with you or tag it and say, hey, I want to do something for Easter or something. I've thrown something together I like. Can you just check it and make sure that, you know, your design mind, this is good for our brand?
Exactly. And then you can also link your brands here. So if I have a collaborative folder, I just created this brand, I can link it and click on link, which links the existing brand that I have into this. So everybody who has access to this project will be able to use assets from this brand. You can also create libraries across Creative Cloud. So whatever libraries you have, maybe you can add some of these libraries into your project as well. So yeah, these are some of the libraries that I have. I can, if I wanted to, I can add a shared library in here as well. All right, now I have the brand and I have a shared space where I can collaborate with my peers. But how do I create a template for them to use? So I already have a template here that I created for this demo, but let me show you how you can do that really quickly in 5 simple steps. Don't count me on it. I don't know if it's going to be 5 steps, but
I'm going to count now.
Yep. Let's create a new file. That's step number 1. Okay, so we have a new file and this is going to serve as our template. Okay, the second step is going to be creating the template itself. So I'm going to browse to my brands and create the template. The way that you do it is maybe your template has text layout, use that text layout. If you have a background color, I would say use that. I just want to use an image as a background. So let me bring that in here really quickly. Like so.
And this was for velocity something. What was it?
Velocity vortex. Yes. Vortex. This is a cycling brand that I made on an Adobe Livestream before. Okay. And then I want to use my brand assets in here as well. So I can easily go to my brand that I just created and add on other logos. So maybe I want to use this white lockup and I'm going to place it here. I'm not going to be too I don't know what's the word, too precious about it, but I'm going to try to just do this really quickly. You can also add your text layout here. So maybe you want to say, write more, worry less. I don't know, whatever works. And then you can change the font to be your brand font. So this is the brand that I have selected, Velocity Vortex, and you have all these brand fonts that you just added. Maybe I want to use this one, and then you can also use your brand colors, which are right over here. So I want to use this white, like so. I do want to make it center line, and maybe I want it like so here. And then maybe I want to add like a secondary text to learn more, comment, velocity, I don't know, gear, I don't know, whatever. Whatever your ManyChat integration lets you. And then I am going to use a different body font here and then change the size to be slightly smaller. Yep. I think that looks good. I do want to add like some noise here as well, just to show how that would look like if that part is logged in the template, right? So
Yeah.
we're adding another asset here as well. And that these are all just images that I added to my brand. So once you have that set up, it's like super simple for me to do all of these things. In Adobe Express, you're also able to change the blend mode for these assets. So it's super easy for me to change it from normal to multiply. And then I can also change opacity for it to give that kind of a noise effect.
Yeah. That's
Now,
nice.
we're done with step two. This was the template or the design that we created, right? I want to be able to replace the background image every time someone uses this template. So I selected that from my layer panel and then go to more. And there's this button here which says lock, allow, image replace. This means that the position of this image will be logged, like the sizing of it will be logged, but you can still replace that. So I'm going to click this button and it gives me this I want to say blue purple kind of icon here, which tells you that this is logged but the image can be replaced. For the texture that I added, I want to keep it logged. So again, I went to the layer panel, I clicked on the texture layer, clicked on this more button, and then I want to lock it because I don't want anyone to mess with it. So I lock that down. Then comes this logo, which again, logos, I don't want you to change it. I don't want you to crop it. I don't want you to move it around. So select that object or the layer and then click on lock. For the text as well, it is your call, totally dependent on how you want to work with your particular template. For me, I just want to showcase how it would look like if I did lock, allow, text, replace. With this one, there are a few options here on the left where if you click on edit replace settings, you're either limiting to the text box that you have, which doesn't have a dotted line anymore, which means even if you add more text to this, it will only show you these two lines of text. If you have allow any length selected here, it's going to go over. And if you add more, we'll see what happens when we're reusing this. But let's keep allow any text box. And then this is new where it says adjust text box size, where people are able to adjust this size. So let's click that, check that, and see how that looks like in our template. Okay, so step one, create a new file. Step two, create the design. Step three, make these restrictions. So you're locking all of these things down. Make sure you're locking the elements that you don't want people to change at all, right? And now comes the actual part of designing the template. How do I save it? Where are people going to use it? So backtracking to where we talked about projects, that's where you're going to save a template. So you click on the share button and there's a button here which says convert to template. This used to be slightly different. If you're coming back from, if you've been using Adobe Express, this probably looks different to you. But if you've never used it before, you go to the share button, super simple, click on convert to template. Once I do that, on the left, I can name my template. So I'm just going to say template social one. And you can write a note about the template on how to use it. So if you're collaborating with someone, you can put in notes about, you can use the background image and replace it with any of the brand images. Don't change the logo. Don't change the text. The text should only be 2 lines long or whatever. Like whatever instructions that you want to send, think of it as instructions that you want to tell people about this template and how to use, right? Like an IKEA instruction notebook manual. And then the location is where you're saving this template. So I'm going to hit select. I'm going to go to, again, there are 2 options here. Files is locally, but I do want to collaborate with someone. So I'm going to go to projects, and then I'm going to select the folder or the project that we created and click select. This is the same location that we were looking at earlier. And then there's another option at the bottom here which says keep a copy of this file. I'm going to check that just in case something goes wrong. I just like to keep a copy. I have tons of copies everywhere. And then I'm going to click convert to template as my last step. This is going to create a template and convert this file. And obviously, since I clicked on keep a copy, it's going to keep a copy of this file and then create a separate template in that project. I can go to this location, Hopefully it takes me. Yep, here we are. And here's the template that we just created, template social one, and it's right over here now. So if Flynn comes in, right now you don't have access, Flynn, but let's say I'm accessing from over here. I don't want to dox you with your email, so let's not do that.
Oh yeah, I was
I
gonna
want
say you
to,
could do it live, but yeah, that's not fun.
yeah, that's not fun at all. Then you're like randomly getting emails because of wherever.
I get enough. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So I'm just we're gonna try to think that I'm Flynn, and then now we're gonna go see. Oh, there are two custom templates here. I can go in and make some designs out of these. So I can click on this ellipse button and then click on use template. And this is where step 5 comes in, which is actually using the template. So you go in here and then you maybe say, we've got the gear. Oh,
Right.
what happened? You need. So as I'm typing, it is increasing the size of the text box that I have here, which is really nice because now I can move my secondary text over here. And then I don't know if, oh, it's obviously showing me all of these settings because I was the one who created this template. But
Yeah.
if someone else were using it, this would not be like, I would not be able to see all of these settings, right? It would look
Yeah.
slightly different. And then we can see that the logo is logged. We have the background image that I can replace. So I can click on replace. I can click on brands, go to my brand graphics and upload any or use any of these images to replace. So maybe I'll use this one and it's replaced. Now, the last thing in all of this content creation process is sharing. So we click on the share button, and there are various things that you can do here. You can create a view only link for people that you want to share stuff with just for a quick approval process. And like, hey, here's the link. Go on it and see if this is good. And then I can move on either iterating on it or final version, right? Then you can also schedule your post. So this is where the fun begins, where you can schedule directly to social media from within Adobe Express. A lot of tools, and I want to quickly go back to my pricing page just to show that content scheduling is actually part of the free Adobe Express plan. And I know that's one of the things that people really want to do with a lot of tools, and it's always like a paid feature. But with
Yeah.
Adobe Express, content scheduling is also available on the free version of Adobe Express. So if you have some designs previously created, or if you don't want to create like a brand kit, you can still use the content scheduler and be able to share your content across um sorry, it doesn't have any connections here because I'm in that project, but you're still able to share all of your content across your social media. So you can have Instagram,
Right.
X, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you can also add up to 3 connections for all of these. So you also add Pinterest and TikTok. I don't know if I said that. But now if I select Instagram, I'm able to either post a post or reel or a story, and then caption generation is also an option because now you have like ChatGPT integration, which lets you create a caption right from this content scheduler window. You can also leave a first comment and then schedule whenever. So if I wanted to say schedule on 24th, 9:49 a.m., I can click schedule and it's gonna schedule the post for me. I can also click on preview to see how that would look like once it was scheduled. This actually works great because I do this on a demo every time and then I forget about it and then it just randomly posts a thing
Right.
on my
Yes.
LinkedIn and I'm like, wait, what was that? I didn't even I didn't even think that this was gonna post, but it always does without fail. So I'm gonna set it as draft and click on add draft for now. But yeah, we did it. We made it. We covered a lot. We talked about how to set up your brand. So we talked about setting up your logos, colors, fonts, and graphics in a brand kit in Adobe Express. Then we talked about how file and folder organization works within Adobe Express. So there's files under your stuff, which is all the files that you create that are your personal files. So even if you're in an enterprise or a collaborative team, all the things in your stuff and files is yours. no one can explicitly see it unless you give them access by sharing it to their email directly. Under projects is where you can create a collaborative project or a folder. You can still choose to not share it with anyone if you would like to just have file and folder organization, which I know I'm very OCD about. So if I want to create like 10 different folders for everything, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, I can create a project just from the homepage and I can create those folders and I have that there. So what I'm talking about is under here, projects, where this is where I can create any number of folders. Click on create and click on folder. This is where you would say Instagram, or like click create folder TikTok. And this would really help with your file and folder organization. And then you can click and drag these things within those folders. So everything
Oh, that's
remains
cool.
organized. Everything's super cool. This is also where you create your templates and store them for that particular project, which is really nice. You also have calendars, and we discussed about how to create a reusable template, adding locks and restrictions to that, and then reusing that as well. And at the end, we discussed content scheduler. So a lot of things. If you missed anything, please go back and watch it again, because as always, we only have limited amount of time here. So we try to pack as much information as we can. But I hope this was like a comprehensive process of how to set up your brand and then create content from reusable templates and then share it to socials.
Yeah, super, super useful. I was interested just on with the logo that was locked. Can you replace
Yeah.
the logo and it remains locked, or is it locked as in you can't replace it at all? Like you want
It
to
is
lock it?
logged. Great question. So I'm going to click on edit template just to show you that. I have this logo selected, and there are two options here: allow, replace, and lock. If I have
Right.
lock selected, media cannot be replaced right now, but there's still a button here on the settings where if I click on media can be replaced, it's going to let me replace it from any of the images, either in the brand, in my Adobe Express account, or in my local storage. From anywhere, I can still upload and replace this. But I
Okay.
have to have this checkbox selected, which I didn't have earlier. So
Got
yeah,
it.
if you wanted to do that, you can select this one.
That's cool. That's great to see that there's a flexibility in that, because there are cases where you might just be like, do not change this logo under any circumstances. But there might also
Yeah,
be, of course, if you change the image, you might need a different tone of the logo for it to make sense. So
exactly.
that's great that they've thought of that. Wow, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Anika. It was really, really interesting. I love seeing the scheduler and how it's like evolved over time as well. There's so many different platforms and so many different kind of controls that we have now, which is
Yeah.
always really interesting to see.
No, thank you so much for having me, and I hope this was helpful to those of you all watching. And yeah, we'll be back with another stream really soon.
Back again soon. Again, thank you so much for joining us for Adobe Live Asia Pacific, Anika, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back again in the future with some more Adobe Live. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.